Hey everyone and welcome, my name is Carlo Libertini, and in this video we're going to dive into Blue Cat's PatchWork. This is a whole new revelation in insert technology. What this is the virtual patch bay, but you don't need cables and you don't need wires. It all happens internally with plugins. I mean, think of the power of that already. Why use a conventional, traditional insert area in your DAW when you can elevate it to a patch bay like a real studio, in this case, virtually? Now, PatchWork works with VST and audio units, and it comes with over 30 effects built into it and utilities. So if you don't have VSTs, it'll help you get started. But here's the best part. Check this out. Let's say your DAW doesn't utilize VST technology, VST and VST3, even the latest ones. Well, now you can. You can actually use this in any DAW and utilize VST technology, even if your DAW doesn't naturally support it. So there's a lot of flexibility and advantage to this. And we're going to dive right in and show you how to get started, look at the interface, and how you can literally elevate your mixes today thanks to a virtual patch bay from Blue Cat. All right. Now, it's also available as an audio plugin, as an insert. And when it is, it includes an external sidechain. It's also available as a synth version that can allow you to have multiple bus outputs, a lot of flexibility, a lot of internal routing, and a lot of workflow advancements right there. But it's also smart because you might be asking yourself, okay, this is a patch bay I'm going to be working with now. It's very intuitive and has delay compensation. Plus, it actually has technology built into it to utilize the insert slots over multiple processing cores on your CPU. So there's a lot of, practical experience built into this to make the most out of not only the software, but hardware you're going to be using. So what we're looking at right now is the Patch Bay virtual insert here. And you can see I have it right here on my bass guitar, drums, synth, and even guitar. And that's it. It's really elegant when you think of it this way, because all of my plugins and inserts can happen here in a unique virtual patch bay experience. Let's take a listen to this session that I created for us right now, and then we'll dive right in. Bass guitar, drums, little lead guitar, and some synth. Here it is on the bass guitar, here it is on the drums. And you can see the signal chain that I've custom created for each one of these instruments. And we've got a lot of presets to dive into as well. Okay. Let's get started. What I'm going to do now is clear these all to default, and you and me together are going to utilize PatchWorks as a virtual patch bay and really show you how we can elevate our mixes and workflow right now. Let's do it right now. Okay, we're back in our mix. Now you can see that PatchWork is a clean slate. Let's talk a little bit about the interface here, because I think this is important because it's very modular. You can customize your virtual patch bay any way you want. Now, I created a default here for myself to help me get started with my projects. But check this out. Right over here, you've got the main toolbar area. Now you could activate and deactivate it. Plus you also have a mix knob for a wet dry. If you want to balance the signal between the effects that you're creating and the original dry signal, all happens right there. Next, we've got the plugin menu. Here you could choose different preset skins if you want, different presets and global settings, of course. Here you've got your control settings, undo, redo. You also get access to the manual, which I highly recommend reading, of course. Some about and some zoom. Now, this is really handy. It's not scalable. Perhaps in future versions it will be, but at the meantime, look at how large you can make it. I have it set to 200% right now because I'm using a 4K monitor, but you also got presets for small, medium, and large versions, like so, if you need to just increase or decrease it. So that's really easy. And here's where you can start adding columns. Now you can see I could choose one column. Now what you're looking at here is a you know, what a typical insert slot area like here or in your DAW of choice would look like. You could put 1, 2, 3, 4 effects in a row, but you could have up to 8 columns. Check that out. And we could have up to 8 rows. Look at this. You cannot do this with a standard insert slot on any DAW. Why? Because this is going to elevate your inserts. You'll notice that here in the pre-section, this is where your audio is going to hit first. You can have up to 8 channels. Then you can have parallel chains. That's right. You can run your effects not only in series, but in parallel at the same time. This allows you, for example, to have like a unique EQ setting in a left ear or right ear, or a particular effect, or different summing possibilities. Really groundbreaking. Let's go back to my default setting. And there you go right there. And we'll talk more about this in a second. And obviously we've got some controls because it's assignable. You can use this, you can automate these parameters, and you can assign it to hardware controllers, and you can show and close all the effects. So let's get started right now with our bass guitar. Let's solo our bass guitar and let's start mixing. Let's take a listen to our bass. Okay, so here in the pre-section, this is what's going to be hit first. And you can see there is a plus sign here. You have an input control, an input metering here, output control and output metering on this side. And that I mentioned that this not only does mono and stereo, it does up to 8 channels of surround sound mixing capability. Just keeps getting better and better. Now here at the plus sign, I'll select that, and you can see that you can load any VST or VST3. So if you have your favorite VSTs from other brands or such, or that came with your DAW, they're all available to use. It's not just exclusive to just the amazing plugins that PatchWork includes for you. And up here in Select, you can actually have the effects. You've got delays and reverbs, dynamics, EQs and filters, built-in effects. I love the wah on this one. Modulation and some utilities, all to begin using immediately. In fact, why don't we do this? Because I often start with an EQ here in my first insert slot. Now, if you remember up here in the header, if this happens to you, just choose the magnifying glass and you can enlarge it up to 200% so we can have a better view there. All right, typical EQ. I love this. We could roll off, let's say, you got the information right up here, or let's use one of the presets. I could say, you know what, I want to do a high pass at about 100. And let's take the 450, and I know I want a little bit of a bump around there. And there you go. Bypass it. Let's bring it in with our drums so we don't mix too many things soloed. Oh, that's sounding good already. I like that. All right, but now we really want to spice this up, and this is where the fun part really comes in. Here's our parallel chains. The geek in me just loves this. Yes, you can activate and deactivate the chains, and you've got right here another gain staging for them. Now let's see. Let's go to something really fun. Let's go to modulation, and I can add a chorus right there. Let's enlarge that. All right. And how about, let's say, let's on the next one, let's do something fun. Let's go to delays, and I'll put an echo right there. Okay. Now remember, these are now running in parallel, not series. So that's actually pretty cool. And let's use a preset here for this one. I'll go to one of my favorites, fourth echo right there. And I'm going to turn the mix down just a little bit. Let's take a listen now. Now, don't be afraid of the level changes because there are gain staging utilities available in here. Plus, we're going to add some compression to this next. We're going to build this whole mix together really quickly. So I'm adding some chorus, some echo, and speaking of compression, let's go to our post area and let's add some dynamics. Let me go to the compressor. I actually love this compressor. It sounds great and it's super easy to use. So here is our compressor. Now under let's scroll around. Let's see what we can find something here. Oh, limit 8. I actually like this one. Now I'm going to set our parameters to taste. I'm going to lower my threshold just a little bit. The ratio is too much. I'm going to do a little bit. I'm watching my metering here. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm going to take my makeup gain. Okay, and there we go. There's some bass fun for us. Let's deactivate it, and here's the original bass track. And here's what we got so far. Oh, let's bring it in, sorry. Got a little warble there with the chorus, a little echo. Okay, now a little bit about the effects. So you can see that it labels it chorus, and it's 1 of 1. Here's 2 of 1, and this one will be 3 of 1 and 4 of 1. You could turn them on right here individually, and you can gain access to opening up the plugins right here with this button right here. Plus, you can select them, and you can bypass it, you can remove it, and you have more parameters just by selecting the plugin like that on any one of these. Okay, so you can activate, deactivate them. Each one has its own gain staging. And right now we're running into an EQ, little cleaning up a couple of low end rumble, for example, let's say. Doing some parallel chaining here. We could parallel compression. That would be great on some signal flow, and into a compressor, which we can activate and deactivate into our output meter with another gain staging there. And did I mention that these effects sound amazing, really amazing? All right, let's have a little bit of some drum fun here. One of my favorite utilities here under the EQ, I'll show you something, is the spectrogram. Now, I use this quite a bit, actually, and I really do recommend you get used to this. Let's go to the spectrogram. All right, let's play our drums. Look how beautiful that is. This is all included with PatchWork when you buy it. I mean, they sound great already, but I'm gonna come, let's see, I'm gonna move that over, and I wanna dip a little bit right here. I could see some energy that I wanna just lower right above. Look at that, comes with the spectrogram, absolutely beautiful. So just doing a little dip right there. Sometimes a little does go a long way, right? And why not have a little fun? Why not add some effects? Let's go back to our, we'll do, one of my favorites. Let's do the echo again. Why not? And again, just need to increase the size here at any time. We'll bring it up to 200% right there. All right, I'll leave it on default. But one thing I'm going to do is my BPM is 92 BPM. You can actually, right here, if you want to have control over the parameters, you can select it from here and just right click. Or you can double click right in the parameter center and type in the value that you want. Or in this case, let me see, I think I wrote it down. Yeah. Okay, yep, we had this at 326 because our BPM was 92. So we're dividing the BPM. Okay, I want to make sure everything is on. Beautiful. Bring up my, you can hear the echo right there. I actually love this technique for adding rhythmic value to an already rhythmic performance, especially on the snare drum. Sometimes I do add delays, certain parts of songs on the snare drum alone. It's a little tip for you. And PatchWork makes it really easy to do that. Awesome. Now we could add further effects here, or just come to post and say, yeah, you know, I gotta tell you, I continuously come back to this compressor because it's really amazing. It's a great compressor. And what I'm gonna do here is adjust my ratio just a little bit more. And let's adjust our threshold. Just wanna catch some overs. Oh, I love that right there. And of course we have our makeup gain. Let's bring in the bass now. Doesn't that sound amazing? And all of this is happening within our virtual patch bay. Okay, here's the bass guitar. And there's the drums. And we haven't even begun to have fun. Let's dive right into the synth now. Let's solo that. It's a beautiful synth part, actually. Check it out. Now, there's a lot we can do here. Let's have a little bit of fun with parallel chaining and process, maybe create some space in the mix. That's always a good thing. One of my favorite effects, again, out of all 30 of them, I just love them all, is the, let's see, I want to go to, the micro EQ. Here we go. This is great for adding a little bit of brightness to your audio. It's just basic controls. Okay, check this out. Turn it on. Make sure it's on. There we go. You can see again, each one has their own bypass. There's a lot of bypasses on this. Well, it's a virtual patch bay after all. You can lower the bass. See, I cut the bass, or you could boost the bass. And I'm holding Alt or Option on your keyboard, and clicking it will restore them to default. And there's another gain stage parameter here with this one. Okay, so I brightened it up a little bit. But now in our parallel chain here, let's do something interesting. I'm going to add a compressor, again, because I love this compressor. And following that, let's go to our utilities and choose pan. Okay, now we have another pan staging. So here's where it gets wonderful. Because, well, I mean, not just here, the whole thing is amazing. This really is your insert box area elevated. I mean, who doesn't want a virtual patch bay over a just simple insert slots in your traditional DAWs? Hopefully you're beginning to really follow along and see the potential here. Let's say this one, I want to pan it hard left. Now let's set some parameters here for the compressor. All right. And now I don't want too much. Let's see, I'm going to, let's do this to taste. Just a little bit goes a long way. Remember that? Okay, I'm going to keep that there. I don't think I need any makeup gain on this. I have a little bit of headroom with my fader. It's just riding ever so slightly. All right, and let's do the same thing. Now, this is a hobby of mine, a habit of mine. Because I'm going to go hard right and left, and I'm not going to insert anything else in the middle, I'll keep the 4 slots here. And I just do this because of housekeeping. Let's bring in another compressor here. And another pan under Utilities. You can see under Utilities, there's gain, level, MIDI through. There's mid-side decoding, mid-side encoding, even muting. And all of these are automatable, as I mentioned before, in pan. All right, now in this one, we're going to pan all the way to the right there. And let's set some of these parameters for the right side. Just a little bit. Oh, we got to make sure it's on. Here we go. By the way, it's not on, see? If that happens to you, just toggle it on. And there you go, real world working scenario. So now I can have different dynamics in both the left and right ear, depending on what the audio needs, of course. This is super handy. I'm telling you, the potential is limitless, and it does behave like a real patch bay. Now I'm going to raise the volume a little bit. All right, here is before. Let me bypass it. Notice how with the hard left to right panning, we're going to create some space in the center of this mix. Ready? Here we go. Still feels nice, still sounds the same, but there is now more room in the center. Here it is before, and here it is after. Now what I'm going to do is tame it a little bit. I'm going to add another compressor here at the end, and why don't we choose a preset one of my favorites that I often go to is the input smoothing. All right, this is actually a really good one. Let me adjust the parameters just a little bit here for input smoothing. I'm really going to ride this one a little bit more. Not too much on the ratio. Don't need to attack it aggressively. Not too much. I'm going to leave this at 250. And I'm going to turn the makeup gain up. There. Now I'm going to reset this fader value back down to 0. Okay, now we did quite a bit to this. Here it is again before without our virtual patch bay, thanks to Blue Cat. Now don't listen just for amplitude changes. Listen to the texture. Here we go. So little does go a long way. All right, now check this out. One of my favorite features, again, let me open up this, is if I wanted to see all of the plugins at once, just come up to this option right here and select it. And there you go. And you'll notice that it says post 1. So this is the compressor on this side, post 1. Here's my panning, right? Panning left. Here is the parallel compressor, the other parallel, and the other parallel compressor. And there's a micro EQ in here somewhere. There it is right there. So now I could see all of the windows in all their glory for all that we're working with. Just with one touch of the button, which is right there. I can close them all and I can open them all. Close them and I could see them all at once. Really handy, super awesome workflow technique and tip right there. And it's as easy as just selecting it like so. Okay, now these are also movable. If I wanted to drag these around, I can move them to any insert slot. And don't forget that yes, we can have as many as we want, and we can also add more insert slots, virtual insert slots, as you need them. So keep that in mind. Again, all automatable and completely customizable, and you can link these to hardware. All right, let's take a listen to where we are now. Sounds nice. Now you notice here on the guitar, I have a preset because up here in the main preset area, I want to cover this as well. Let's take a listen to the guitar. Now, if you follow along with my videos, you'll know that I always encourage people to explore presets. It's a great way to think out of the box and expose yourself to really taking advantage as to what your plugins can do, especially with the virtual patch bay like this. So let's open up our presets, and here you go. You can see them all here. Plus, they're also categorized under delays, modulation. You can see on the modulation, I'm using Stereo Detune Lite, other effects, and it just goes on and on and on. Harmonies, mid-side reverb, channel strips, other channels, MIDI settings. I mean, I just love this. And of course, you'll notice when I select this, you'll see my defaults that I've created, my favorites. For bass, for drums and synthesizers, they're immediately accessible right here. So when you want to store a preset, create your settings and just come up to Save As, select that, and it'll put it in the PatchWorks Blue Cat PatchWorks folder for you. All right, so that's a little bit about that. Let's go through some of the guitar ones, or generally what they all are. You can use these on anything. All right, let's bring in the whole band here, and let's take it from the top. Now again, all of these are being processed by this amazing virtual patch bay, which you are going to love and take advantage and incorporate into your workflow today. Here, let's open up a couple of them for us. Let's take it from the top. Who doesn't want a patch bay in their studio? I love having a patch bay now, thanks to Blue Cat. And remember, I mentioned before, it does mono stereo and up to 8-channel surround sound. So there is no excuse to have yourself a patch bay today, thanks to Blue Cat. My name is Carlo Libertini, everyone. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to visit the links below for more information. Stay busy and stay creative, and thank you.